Welcome to Game of Roses. This is Pace Case.
This is Bachelor Clues, and this is our first This Week in Bachelor Nation in a minute. We've been having some rookie breakdowns coming out, this and that.
Luckily, no news during this.
We took the exact correct 2 weeks off during the news cycle. Nothing was happening. Just kidding. A lot was happening, obviously. We're going to get to all of it in this Bachelor Nation, in this week in Bachelor Nation. I always mess that up. In this week in Bachelor Nation.
In this Twibbin.
We will get it. But we need to say at the top, we do have a little bit of business. We have been doing watch parties for, obviously, we did all of Jen Tran's season at 33 Taps in Silver Lake out here in Los Angeles. And we did the premiere of Golden Bachelorette last night at 33 Taps downtown. Thank you to everybody who came out. Thank you to 33 Taps for hosting us. We are going to go on a slight hiatus until we can potentially find a new location, maybe the 33 Taps in Culver City. We're checking it out. And we'll be back for the playoffs of this season. So our apologies for that.
Trying to make it a prestige event with everything worked out.
Yeah, we're trying to still work out some kinks in this and kind of get both feet on the floor with our watch parties. So please bear with us while we change the location a little bit. But again, thanks to everybody who came out last night. It was very surreal to be sitting in that 33 Taps downtown. It's wall-to-wall, giant screen TVs. They were all Joan Vassos staring down at us. Yeah, it was a very
Who's
interesting
invisible
experience.
now? Not Joan.
That's definitely correct. Not at 33 Taps.
The most visible.
In downtown LA. She was very visible. But let's jump into this. Now, we have to tell you, we have two states of the game, basically, that we're going to do here. One state of the game we recorded with author, screenwriter, director Yulin Kuang. That is going to be playing for you right now. That was recorded even before the Devin 13-minute Instagram reel came out, let alone before the restraining orders and all the reality.
I thought the reel had come out.
Had it? Maybe it had.
I want to say we talk about the reel. Honestly, so much has happened in the last week. I'm not positive.
My mind is mush.
It had come out. We recorded this last week. I think that's important to know.
I agree. We recorded this last week.
We do not discuss the restraining order or anything like that.
Right. It was at least before the restraining order. So we're going to play you that interview, that state of the game. Then Pace Case and I are going to do another shorter state of the game, kind of updating all the stuff that's come out with the restraining order, as well as the restraining order that has now surfaced for Gil Hernandez, who is one of the Golden players. And just kind of talk about broadly what is going on with casting and vetting. So right now, you're going to get our first state of the game, again, with author, screenwriter, and director Yulin Kuang. Then you're going to get our second state of the game. That's just me and Pace Case. So here is that first Game of Roses. State of the game. We have a very special guest in State of the Game this week. She is the best-selling author of How to End a Love Story. She's also adapting Emily Henry's Beach Read into a movie, which she's also going to be directing for 20th. She is a Bachelor superfan. Please welcome to the show, Yulin Kuang.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you.
Dang, writer, director, and Bachelor superfan? A triple threat?
Well, it's hard to... I don't know if I identify as a Bachelor superfan in the same way that I'm like, I don't know if I identify so much as a Swiftie as I am a fan of Taylor Swift's music, because I don't engage in the extracurriculars. You know, it's there's all the Easter eggs.
I totally understand.
And in the Bachelor franchise, there's kind of this entire second life that the show has online, you know, where it's all these things.
Oh, yes.
and that I just don't have the time for it, guys.
So you haven't
honestly,
watched
I am
Devin's
the same way
13-minute
about
video?
Taylor Swift. She is my most listened to artist, but I don't know like who all the songs are about or the lore.
It's fine. We all got a lot going on, you know?
Of course.
I'm like, they're about me. What are you talking about? They're about my life.
No, that just means you're a Bachelor purist. You only imbibe the document itself.
I try to stick to the text, yes. I've had my like seasons where I'm more in it and seasons where I'm less in it. Like I watched it way back in the day. Like I think I remember watching.
Yeah, when did you start?
I think I watched Trista's season like when I was but a small child, like
Yeah.
sitting watching appointment television. And then I think the next time I came in as an adult, it was with
Mm.
Ben Higgins's season.
Okay.
And I
Hmm.
was
A big
like
gap.
in it then. And I think I was riveted by JoJo. I still remember
Sure.
Luke and that like airport like break. Oh my God, my
Hmm.
heart. There was Rachel Lindsay. And then I actually went to a taping of After the Final Rose for Ari. I think you like see me at the top of one of the
Oh
Oh,
commercial
my
breaks, like
wow.
whispering
gosh.
to my friend. And
That
then
was, I mean, that was a historic After the Final Rose. You
Yeah.
saw the first time that that proposal happened
it
to the
was very
second choice for wife on the show.
Yes, it was very dramatic. And then I fell off. So I got
Mm.
really into like Love Island UK
Sure.
um around 2018. And then I
Same.
took a kind of like pretty lengthy break from reality dating shows in general.
Hmm.
And I tuned back in specifically for Jen because she's the first
Wowie.
Bachelorette.
Well,
And so
yeah.
I just don't want to call myself a Bachelor super fan
Okay.
because I don't know that that is
Yeah,
accurate.
you've only labeled like 10 seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You're
exactly. I want to
Since you
set
were a
the
small child, that's
yeah.
a.
You're like, I'm not a Bachelor super fan, but if you do go to the Ari Lyondike After the Final Rose and scroll through to minute 7, second 42, you will see me for exactly 16 frames.
I
And
think it's like the third commercial break.
yeah,
Okay,
we call
wait.
those
I do
portions.
have
The
a
third
question.
portion.
Back to the Ari Lyondike After the Final Rose. Did you have any idea what was going on? Did you know that he was broken up with Kufrin at that point?
I think there were like rumblings. I remember there being something in the atmosphere at the
Mhm.
time if you were like extremely plugged in. Because you could go
Hmm.
on to like, was it Reality Steve or something?
Sure.
Like you could find out
Yeah.
spoilers. And I have always been a big fan of spoilers because I think that when you know the ending of something, you can see the seeds of it going
Mhm.
into it. And
Hmm.
that always makes for a very compelling second watch for a lot of things. But
Sure.
time is a
Yes.
valuable resource of which we have a finite amount. And so sometimes I would just seek out spoilers so that I could watch the entire thing the first
Mhm.
time around that way.
Only one time.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I did that with Ari season exactly, but I do feel like I was paying a little bit more attention to what was
Yeah.
the conversation was.
Now you're a novelist, you're a screenwriter, you're a director. Do you find that your interest in reality TV, specifically reality dating TV, has informed any of the stuff that you're working on in the scripted world?
I think it informs a lot for sure. Like I think what the reality dating world does so well is it shows us something that does feel real. Like I think people who are skeptics, well,
It feels real to me and
it
most of
feels
Bachelor
it
Nation.
sometimes it feels
Yeah.
more like a little bit okay, what am I trying to say? I have friends who are very skeptical of reality dating shows, and I
Mhm.
understand why, because to them it all feels very scripted, it feels false.
Sure.
And I think we live in a time where people are kind of skeptical. We're all very like savvy about social media and how these
Mhm.
things can change people's lives, and we hear things like, "Oh, are you here for the right reasons?" and all those things. But I think the thing that keeps me coming back often is that these people aren't actors, Sometimes you watch them like try and sell a commercial at the ad breaks or like sell like,
Yeah.
oh wow, I'm so
Hmm.
excited to see Wicked. And you're like, you're not an
Maybelline
actor.
products.
That's you're this is not what you do, you are
Yeah.
a real person. And so what it is it's staged, not scripted. And it's kind of a social experiment, right? It's like it's taking
Mhm.
these people, and if we create these conditions, what will happen? I'm the daughter
Yeah.
of scientists, and so reality dating fascinates me from a sociological
Sure.
experiment kind of angle. And when I look at how I'm using it in my own writing, it's not like a one-to-one. I'm not like pulling this,
Sure.
but I think it does inspire, like
Of
sometimes you'll
course.
watch things and you'll be like, oh my God, that gut-wrenching feeling. Like, yeah, let me
Mhm.
inject a little bit of that into act three.
Yeah. I mean,
So, as a daughter of a scientist, how did you feel watching this season coming back in after a break?
Coming back, oh man, it's a little bit like if we're talking about the zoom out a little bit, I do it did feel a little bit like watching a dinosaur in the
Mhm.
world, because when we first came to the Bachelor franchise with like Trista and all of them, like it was this, it it was kind of revolutionary. Like I remember it being revolutionary. These are real people. Oh my God. And then I think when I fell off and I discovered Love Island, that was because it was presenting something that felt very new and young and fresh, and that was so interesting. And so when I came back to it, there was a part of me that was excited because there was a nostalgia to it. There's something almost like very old-fashioned about the way the Bachelor is structured, where it's still selling, it's not just selling dating and romance, it's selling like love and matrimony. Like Neil Lane comes out and there you pick out a diamond. Like it's so old-fashioned and old school in a way that's like almost punk rock. We're almost there, I'm like, that's
it's
insane.
gone all the way back around.
It's so aggressive. Right? It's progressive.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. Yeah. And then you're watching all these people and you have to imagine most of them at this point know that what they could do with their platform, right? And that's why I always find it a little bit difficult to watch the first couple weeks, because it's like we got to separate the like wheat from the chaff a little bit. And it's at once, I remember having this feeling of like, I was glad to be in a place where I had a protagonist again. Because when you watch like the Love Island shows, that format, it's like 7 people, like 14 people or something like that. All these couples, I don't know who's going to stay. I don't know who's going to go. And it's hard to kind of find a person to root for. Whereas we come here and it's about Jen. It's Jen's story. And that's who I'm following. And so that's who I'm invested in. And so that's why when people do wrong by her, I'm so angry. I am furious. And when people are wasting her time, I'm like, get out of here. And so I really had a hard time getting invested, to be honest, until like episode 6. Like, I think that was when I was first like sitting up a little bit.
Last game of the regular season, just before playoffs.
Did you hear any of the, the super fan online stuff about any of the guys during the season?
I think I saw like some cursory things, but I didn't retain them. I think I have since
that's
seen
healthy.
Devin has released some texts, which I don't agree with.
That was going to be one of our next questions.
I also don't like how it's been shoved in my face. I open Reddit and my phone is listening to me. It knows I'm going to be on this podcast. So it's like, would you like to see some texts from like Devin's cell phone? And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I've seen something, yes. But I haven't gone looking. It's like I stuck out a hand into a river stream and caught a trout.
Let me ask you this. Like, as somebody who also makes movies and makes media, you understand the behind the camera angle of it. We at Game of Roses, or myself, I guess, I've been coaching players to infiltrate the game for the past 3 years and use game strategy to achieve pretty high levels of success. So I'm very aware of how the show is structured.
Do you mean like you've been coaching contestants onto The Bachelor?
Right.
And they've done pretty well.
Yeah. Using Lizzie and I wrote a book called How to Win the Bachelor that essentially is kind of like the Moneyball of Bachelor. So we watched every season and extrapolated from it this kind of statistical data to form strategies. And then we were like, can we really apply this? The answer is yes, we can. And so part of that strategy is learning how to kind of subtly manipulate the producers so you can control your own edit, control how the show is built around you. And in Jen Tran's season, we saw a moment where I think most average viewers are not aware that anything's going on behind the scenes. They think all this is real. But there was a moment in Jen Tran's finale when the producers chose to air her proposal after they had done the hot seats. So we watched her and Devin have these conversations where he just kind of broke her down. She was sobbing. Then the producers decide, let's show this now. And I think that moment kind of cut through the general audience into like a larger vocabulary of media literacy, basically, because most people online were like, how could the producers do that to her? Do you think in reality TV, we're entering, and maybe specifically because of that moment, we're entering a time when the general audience kind of understands more about how these things are made and that they're not real, that it's mainly pro wrestling going on here?
I think there is a higher level of media literacy, of savviness generally. I mean,
Hmm.
clearly you guys are doing your part, right? And I think there is this awareness
Try.
of the artifice of it, but then also there has to be some grain of something real. Otherwise, we
Yeah,
wouldn't keep coming back, right?
totally.
So
Yes.
yeah,
That's the
I
fun
think
of
the
it.
audiences are much more savvy now, and I think that has to impact how the producers are kind of playing the game and playing us.
Yeah, maybe.
How
I
do you think
like.
Chad did coaching Devin?
How dare you?
Did you coach Devin?
No comments. Listen,
I don't know, but
I can only say this. This is the deal I make with everybody I coach. I'll never reveal that I coach them. They're free to do so at their choosing, but I'll never reveal this information. And by omitting anyone, by saying I didn't coach that person, you could infer what you will. So I can't say yes or no. My apologies.
Oh man.
Who do you think edited that 13-minute video and said, this is perfect?
I don't like, what is the goal of somebody getting onto The Bachelor in 2024?
There are myriad goals. Depends on
Good
who your lead
question.
is. But this is a question. This is the final intake question that I ask all players. I say, why do you want to do this? And tell me the honest truth. What you're going to tell the producers is going to be something different probably.
Mhm.
And I will script that for you. But
What do they tell you? I'm so
tell me the truth.
curious.
Everything from I literally want to marry this man and have his babies to I want to be the next bachelorette, get 5 million Instagram followers and never look back. And everything in the middle. Most commonly, it's I think the experience will be fun and I want to be an influencer. That's most common. And I think that that's true of like you're seeing with Harry Jowsey, speaking of, you know, a Too Hot to Handle or a Love Island or whatever. He very openly says, I have created a character that I use in all of these reality shows. All of it is fake and you love it. And he's got whatever 3 point whatever million Instagram followers. He's one of the biggest male dating game stars on the planet. And I think we're entering that.
He's a natural. He applied with a bunch of different applications with different personalities and interests and stuff.
That's so interesting.
The game of reality TV, specifically dating reality TV, I think is we're starting to see this new era, in my opinion, of like elite professional players. Even if you watch like Love is Blind UK, everybody on it owns a gym, works out twice a day, has an 8-pack, you know, all of that. And on Love Island season 6, I'm watching that right now. All they
USA.
talk about, USA, sorry. All they talk about is whether they like Ed Sheeran, how much avocado they want on their toast, and how many times they work out a day. The whole thing now, in my opinion, is like elite professional athlete level, perfect physical specimen players of this game who only want to become influencers and reality stars. And to me, that's like the best era of it.
Well, I think everybody has something to promote, which means everybody has something to gain and win from the platform, right? And I think when you enter it from that angle, everybody here is a rational player. They're in it for themselves. And then it really is trying to find love in a hopeless place. And that's the meaning of The Bachelor when they sell a good story, like a good season for us, right? Is they're selling me on this idea that even though I know and you know all of these people are here for, if not the wrong reasons, they're here for ulterior motives. And like love is maybe just a byproduct. And then if they can actually get them there to that place by the finale, then that's a small miracle of chemistry.
Small miracle of chemistry forced by producers. I mean,
but babies do happen.
That's true.
The
miracles do happen. We have some married couples, but primarily these shows, every season of Bachelor is cast with like 30-ish people. Producers
Trista has 2 kids.
Yeah, Trista has some.
She's married to that
Sean
bucket
Lowe
hat
has
man.
some.
Oh my God.
Mesnick. These seasons are cast primarily with like the producers want maybe 5 viable candidates. The other 25 they don't care about. They're there to be fools and villains and get wrapped up in rivalries and all that. So even the math metrics of it are like, shouldn't they cast 30 people that are viable contenders and let the drama unfold as she falls in love with all of them? No, they never do that because they have this kind of old school, like you're saying, watching a dinosaur. That show specifically has this old school mentality of like, nope, this is how we did it since 2002. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this ship will go down with network TV as we watch it swirl the drain. But do you think?
But in some ways, they do have a responsibility to cast like multiple types of people even if the person only goes for one type of person, because you want everybody who's watching it to be rooting for someone and to identify with someone. And you want someone that everyone can connect with.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you think that this season of Bachelorette has done irreparable damage to the franchise? Or do you think we turn the page and no one cares?
I don't know, because here's the thing. I think that my experience watching The Bachelor, or not watching The Bachelor rather, over the last couple years is reflective of the franchise doing itself in. I've been bored. The only reason I tuned in was because I saw Jen, and I am not so cynical that I won't be caught by like, oh man, like that's somebody whose world looks like mine. Like I remember the very first episode of Jen's, when we saw her friends and family. I was like, this is a feeling I haven't had watching The Bachelor before. And so I don't think it did damage in that sense, but I do think that unless it evolves a little bit more, then I'm watching a species go slowly extinct before my eyes. So I don't think it's done.
Are you still watching Love Island?
No, I'm not either. I did tune in on US Love Island this season.
Yeah, the last US season was great.
Had a little bit more energy, and I enjoyed that. So I think there is this thing that you're talking about of people coming to these places and having their things to promote, and it starts to feel very cynical. And I think that's the piece that is it. I crave good producing. I crave, it's not that like I'm opposed to people coming in with an ulterior motive. What it is I am still in it for the romance. You're talking to a romance novelist, a romance fan, a romance director.
Sure.
And so when I'm coming here, I want to be taken on a journey. And I think what I'm struggling with this season is I didn't get what was promised. I did get to see Jen go on a journey, which
they took things from me.
I feel like Jen did go on a journey, and she does seem like such a like authentic person. Like I believe her when she says that she's had issues in the past with emotionally unavailable men, and then watching somebody like that play out that pattern again in real time is like watching a slow train crash. But I feel like
it is
learned the lesson.
It's also a relatable train crash. I'm like, I know the emotionally unavailable man is pretty common in the wild.
Yeah, we've seen his kind, and I've been drawn, you know.
Oh yes.
And I felt like when was it the Hawaii episode with Fantasy Suites? It felt like she finally learned that lesson with Marcus, and it was nice to watch it. I wish she had learned that lesson a little sooner, and we could have had like Jonathan go a little bit further.
100%.
But alas, you know, that's not always how life works. And I feel like we watched a real person go on a journey with her whole humanity on her sleeve, right? She has her flaws, she has her romanticism, and she's also kind of in this impossible task of acting as a symbol for every Asian American woman in Bachelor Nation. Like that's an impossible mantle for her to carry, and yet I think she did it so well. And then at the end of that, to watch her kind of get betrayed in a way, I think, by the producers, because I almost didn't watch the men tell all.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because they usually bring back all these guys that you've coached that I don't want to hear from again. But I don't want to hear from them. But I was grateful for it because one of them said this thing where he was like, well, we all thought it was going to be Maria or Daisy.
Yeah.
And there was this moment of like, whoa, wait. And then it kind of became this thing of, okay, the producers did fuck up then, because I think there is this duty of care that they talk about in Love Island UK more so, but I feel like there is a duty of care that we owe to these contestants, and especially to your protagonist, to your heroine, Jen. And and I think if they had changed The Bachelorette to anybody, they should have taken another look at these people. And I wonder what sort of questions they ask them. Like, is there any world where they ask them, like, it could be any of these 5 women, and who would you be most interested in?
That is asked in the casting process. They say, who are you excited about from the prior season? But every incoming player just shotguns it. Top 6 from last season. You say that every time.
Right.
None of these guys knew it was going to be Jen. They all thought it was going to be Maria. They were told it was going to be Maria. It was Maria for 2 days. She bailed out, and they just used the same guys, basically. And the kind of duty of care that you're talking about, 2 executive producers from The Bachelor, Bennett Graebner and Claire Freeland, gave a huge LA Times interview right before Jen Tran's season came out, but post-shooting the whole season. So they knew how it ended. And yet they go into the LA Times, they give this whole long interview about how Matt James, the first Black Bachelor in season 25, they know they did him wrong. It'll never happen again. They've got Jen's back. And then the season airs. And that final moment that we were talking about where they showed the proposal after they had her go through those 2 hot seats is exactly what you're saying. It's a betrayal of her, of Bachelor Nation, of the whole thing. But the show's kind of MO is like turn the page. Golden Bachelorette premieres this Wednesday.
Right. And that was brutal to watch. I like when they brought her on, I felt like we hadn't really handled this all because, and I hate to, there's this thing where when you grow up, receiving a lot of messaging that like the all-American girl next door does not look like you. Like when people are picturing a certain thing, they're picturing something else that's not you. There is this feeling of like, okay, then I am not their first choice. And so I do feel like a lot of Asian American women watching this season of The Bachelorette got triggered as fuck by that finale, myself included.
How could you not? Like, I mean, they didn't have to include those comments about Daisy and Maria in it at all. They could have cut that from the Men Tell All. They could have cut it from the Sam M radio episode.
But I am glad that they included it because I think it is a dialogue that needs to happen. And it's like you'd rather people say it to your face, right? Because otherwise sometimes it feels like it's in your head and that's what makes you crazy.
Interesting.
I love your use of the word protagonist to describe the lead. Because I guess I never really had thought about it that way. We usually talk about it like protect your lead. And they didn't protect Jen in like any aspect of this season. I mean, like, I guess great. Ultimately she's the hero. Look, they aesthetically, like, she slayed.
Wardrobe, makeup, hair on point. Firing on
Loved the wardrobe. Loved that white fur stole over the white gown.
Oh, that was such a good one. I wanted to like touch it.
Right? But I'm not sure if you knew about this as well, but Marcus had a bunch of allegations against him by women. No. So it's like they didn't protect her in the casting process with that either. I mean, they didn't protect whoever it would have been, Daisy and Maria as well. It's like he shouldn't have been cast at all for anyone.
Yeah.
But I do think they should think of it as a protagonist because it's like that is the person that you want to root for. It's mostly women who are watching this show. They're putting themselves in the spot of Jen and they are seeing all their past relationships and experiences reflected in the people that she's dating.
Right.
For better or worse.
Well, Yulin, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody out there, please go check out her book, How to End a Love Story. And when is Beach Read coming out? When will the movie be out? 2 years? A year?
Who knows? Who knows? It's in development right now. So
okay. Well, no, congrats on the year you've had. It's obviously been insane. I have one more question, if I may. What was it like to get on Reese Witherspoon's book club? What was that moment like when you found out you were going to be on it?
Oh, it was a great moment. It was in my emails. But it felt
That's
like,
so
you know,
cool.
There's this scene in Legally Blonde where Elle Woods walks up to the bulletin board and she sees her name on the list. It felt like that. Just watch Legally Blonde.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Like, yes.
I just watched a Reese Witherspoon being interviewed about the scene where she is confronting the guy that she breaks up with and is like, oh, you weren't going to pick me anyway. Warner. Like, oh, I was never going to be good enough for you. And it's just like, oh, it's such a good movie.
It's basically a perfect
inspiring.
movie.
I mean, and I mean, tying it back to The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, right? Like you were never
Yeah.
going to pick me. There's something there. I think
Yes,
it's
with
about the
Devin.
thing and yeah, pick me, choose me, love me.
Oh, that's why I brought it up, because Jen reposted it today.
Oh, did she?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I didn't even remember how I got into that. Wow.
It's just seeping into your sphere. But no, sincerely, thanks for joining us. We're excited to see your movie when it comes out. Whenever it comes out, we're going to be waiting for it. And again, everybody check out How to End a Love Story. Are you on social media?
Where can people follow your journey?
My journey. My journey is mostly on Instagram these days, although I'm really like reevaluating how much I want to be there and like how I want to use that platform these days. There's so many think pieces out there about how social media isn't fun anymore, and I'm like, is social media for joy? I'm gonna like try and eat that out a little bit more. You know, we're talking about all these people who are going on the Bachelor.
No, it's not for joy.
5 million
it's for
Instagram
advertising.
Followers. Does that give them joy, or does that give them money, which gives them opportunities to chase joy? You know, so I'm for everybody doing what what brings them bliss. Anyway, follow me on Instagram.
Give her some opportunities to pursue joy. Follow her on Instagram.
Well, thank you. It was an absolute pleasure.
It's at Yulin.Kuang, YULIN.KUANG. Yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you guys too.
Absolutely. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks for joining us.
Game of Roses. State of the game.
All right, so here is the second state of the game. Thank you, by the way, so much to Yulin for joining us. Fantastic conversation. Always interesting to hear what other people from other like scripted parts of media and people who are like in TV and movies think about what's going on in Bachelor world. So now, this is the second state of the game. This was going to be a news story, but I'm just going to start reading some of what we had written for this. The Devin Strader story continues to develop, as does a long, hard look at how the show is casting and vetting its incoming players. After Strader posted a 13-minute Instagram reel last week exposing hundreds of personal text messages between himself and season 21 Bachelorette Jen Tran, Reality Steve broke bombshell news with his report on Monday of this week that revealed an affidavit for Strader's restraining order as well as his arrest in 2017 for burglary of the victim seeking the restraining order. The unsealed restraining order is now on Reddit, and the details are easily searchable if you want to find those. We're not going to cover them here.
And today, this is September 19th, 2024, Thursday, Strader has issued his own statement in the wake of Bachelor Nation's online conversation about the failures of producers to properly vet incoming players. Strader released his statement as an Instagram reel that is plain white text on a black background that reads, "Following my time on The Bachelorette, there have been many stories and misrepresentations put out in the media that I want to take a moment to address. I want to apologize for the video I released following the final episode. I am not proud of that lapse in judgment. I'm truly grateful for my time on the show and for getting the chance to know and love Jen. I certainly regret hurting her in any way. She is a very special person and I wish her nothing but good things."
Most recently, there have been challenges from a low point in my past that have been brought up and severely misconstrued. The accusations are simply not true, as I have never inappropriately laid hands on another individual or treated my ex-girlfriend in any of the ways I have been depicted. The restraining order was never granted and fully dismissed. My college ex-girlfriend and I ended up reconciling and eventually ended our relationship on good terms. This was the first time I ever fell in love, and I learned a lot from our relationship. It was a growing experience for both of us.
I know that I have made mistakes in my life and that I am not perfect, but I have continued to work every day to be someone that my family and friends would be proud of, and I am truly thankful to everyone who has been by my side.
Although the affidavit was publicly available during the casting process, the details in the restraining order were sealed when Bachelorette producers were conducting their background checks. Many within the nation believe the producers would have asked Strader about the nature of the affidavit, and they must have been satisfied with whatever his response was.
The only public statement that has come from anyone that represents the show was made to The Hollywood Reporter. It was given by a person classified only as a source close to the show, and the statement reads, "We take the safety of our contestants very seriously and make every effort to conduct thorough diligence. As exhaustive as our vetting process is, This protective order did not surface in our searches.
To make matters worse for the franchise, another restraining order has now surfaced for a player currently in the Golden Bachelorette named Gil Hernandez. Bachelor Nation Scoop posted the restraining order on Instagram, and it appears to have been issued on July 7th of this year on the basis of stalking. And you can, go to Bachelor Nation Scoop or just Google this. You can see the documents themselves. These are real. So, what exactly is going on with the casting process at the show? How is this happening? That 2 back-to-back seasons have guys with restraining orders. There have been other, issues of this type in the past. On Becca Kufrin's season, a guy named Lincoln Adama. There was a guy on Hannah Brown's season who got kind of disappeared in the edit when allegations of this various kind of, I guess it was like domestic violence, or I don't remember exactly what it was. Some kind of sexual assault allegations that surfaced on that guy. Do you remember?
Something in that area. Yeah. I believe he had like the first one-on-one date, and then they just didn't. They must have found out while shooting to take him out. I'm not sure exactly the details on that. So this isn't the first time, and we obviously had the Colton Underwood and his spring winner Cassie Randolph, that restraining order stalking situation. It's not a new thing for The Bachelorette. It is not a new thing for humanity, violence, physical and otherwise, against women. And it certainly seems to be mostly an issue in Bachelorette. We didn't have anything come out about Joey Graziadei's players, etc. It's been a very hard week for probably anyone in the nation getting all of this news. It has been a hard week for us as well. It sucks. And whatever the level of vetting that they're doing in casting, they need to up the subscription plan. Whatever it is, that needs to go to the next level of money and time and effort, because it's not working. Yeah.
They need,
and you're endangering your leads.
I agree.
The ad-free version, absolutely.
It's not only endangering your leads, which is terrible. It's what it's doing to the fan base, to the people who watch the show and love the show. It makes it more
women
difficult.
And gays.
Primarily.
That was another aspect of this. The hateful DMs that Devin sent.
Yes.
To that guy.
Exactly. Reality Steve exposed that too. He had a very homophobic interaction with someone online, text messages that he was sending to somebody. So it's more about just like his character. Like that type of a person, why would you want that person in the show? Now, granted, I don't think the producers can vet every text message that he's ever sent to anyone to find something like that. But all these other things are public record. And now it's coming out that people think they DM, probably...
But maybe they should look at their DMs.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously you can't do that. Not yet. Yeah. AI will help us with that in the future. But...
oh, good. AI will solve this problem. Next topic.
You'll be able to go through everybody's DMs, that's for sure. Every DM that you've ever sent to anybody, by the way, will be searchable within 5 years. Just throwing that out there. The idea, though, that all these other documents were basically publicly available and that potentially the producers did know and did ask Devin about it. And he was like, oh, yeah, don't worry about that. No big deal. And they were like, great, put him on the show. There has to be, in my opinion, for this show, a kind of blanket policy that if you have anything even approaching this, you're just not on the show. Why ever cast that person? If they're in doubt at all, why do it? Because now, you might be operating under the principle that's like, well, whatever. We just need 30 guys. We got to round out the number, which you don't. You can have one less. But even if you need that number, put in the next guy who is next in line and don't have this be a problem. Because generally what happens in these shows in Bachelor is no one really cares, or it becomes a thing like if Devin would have gotten knocked out in week 1 or 2, everybody would be like, whatever, he's a piece of shit, but they don't care. Unfortunately,
and maybe that's what they assumed would happen.
Well,
they were like, this guy's not making playoffs.
Of course, he might have been cast to be a villain, and then he wins. But they've done this in the past as well. On Matt James' season, I believe they cast Rachel Kirkconnell knowing she was from a sundown town, and that might stir up some kind of racism narrative. They did that with Rachel Lindsay and Lee Garrett. I think they tried to do that again, and oops, she won. Now what do we do? As all this stuff is coming out about her antebellum balls and, you know, whatever. Not to say anything about the relationship she currently has with Matt James. Clearly, they've worked out their problems and figured things out, and they're still together. But in terms of the optics and what that looks like for the show, and then they make Matt James break up with her live at the After the Final Rose because of these things, it dampens the entire franchise. And they're doing it again and again and again. And now I don't know how far Gil Hernandez goes in Golden Bachelorette, but we saw, obviously, he won a rose at night 1. So he's in the show still. His restraining order is out there. And it seems like this is a problem they just cannot avoid.
Oh, I forgot about one.
Yeah.
The second Bachelorette, Meredith Phillips, the only one not in the Pass the Rose video, that famous video, claimed that she was drugged and sexually assaulted by a masseuse during the filming of her season.
And they just buried that story. I mean, this goes all the way to the top. Mike Fleiss has allegations against him for domestic violence from his, I believe they're still together, his wife at the time, that he took her cell phone and pushed her against a wall. It's in the culture of this show, it feels like.
Yeah.
And that is something that needs to stop, obviously. Again, not only for the safety of the players involved, but for the fandom. It becomes very hard to continue watching a show like this when there are other shows that don't have this problem, who are like Love Island, for example.
Or not as frequently.
Not as frequently, exactly. But it's like...
I think Love Island has had a couple.
Yeah.
And Love is Blind obviously has had a couple.
Yes. But those shows too, the group dating shows are like, they're of a different nature. So like one person could have a charge like this against them in a group of 15 and it's lessened. When it's one person who winds up winning the whole show and the whole show is devoted to the singular relationship. Who is this person going to wind up with? And the person they wind up with has restraining orders against them. It's like, how the fuck did this happen? And I don't know what the answer is in terms of like how to fix it, other than more money and time vetting. You know, we'll get to a story
and only
about
cast women.
Yeah, only
That's
casting
the only
women.
solution I see.
They make the pivot.
Is just they have to pivot. Yeah. It's all lesbian Bachelorette.
It's
That's the only option.
There's no more Bachelor and there's no more Bachelorette. It's just pure lesbian Bachelorette.
Yeah. No more casting men.
I'm in. Let's do it.
It's a really good way to
turn
like
the page.
Be like, okay, we're gonna get a lower percentage of assaulters.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't know. Like, obviously, this is a systemic problem.
Yeah.
With like our culture in general, that there's not a centralized system for these kinds of things. You can't just look up on a list like the sex offenders list, restraining orders and stuff. And there's all these legal things. Clues and I are not lawyers. We don't know any of this. I'm sure there are reasons for all of these things, for certain things being sealed, certain things not being sealed. But this is getting national attention. There are articles in the Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, etc. And it's not going away. It's coming into Golden now.
It feels very much like season 25 when Bachelor Nation news, it's like usually relegated to like Us Weekly and People and whatever and Reddit. Once these bigger outlets start picking it up, you're like, oh shit, this is not good. When a scandal comes out of Bachelor Nation into mainstream pop culture media, you know it's very bad. I personally think money really solves this issue. Money and a just like zero tolerance. You put a little more time behind the vetting. You put some more people on it who can do better background checks than whoever the fuck you've got doing it now. And when you find an affidavit requesting a restraining order, that's it. That player's out. There's no conversation. There's no, well, what happened here? It's just like that player can't be on the show. Why do it? Why take the risk of what is now happening? It makes no sense.
There's no reason. They are taking out risk, for sexually transmitted diseases. That's something they're very serious about. They should take out the risk in this. Okay. Well, they do the testing to try to make sure they're protecting the lead in one way.
Yeah.
I do think that like it has to change. I looked up the Becca Kufrin one after this because I was like, okay, how did they respond to it? And they said they found out there was a loophole in their casting or their background checks and that they fixed the loophole.
Yep, they sure did not.
There's another loophole.
Yeah.
There's certainly another one.
Oops. Well, we didn't know there could be more than one loophole, guys. So sorry. Anyways.
I mean, this is two. We don't have a paper record of the allegations against Marcus. I don't personally need to see one.
Yeah.
But both are final too.
Yeah. The Marcus thing is like harder to vet. But when there are public legal records of all of these things, and again, this reporting is starting to lean toward the direction of they knew, asked him about it, and I mean, we don't have that corroborated, but it's starting to look like that. You know, that is unforgivable, basically. And I don't know. If
they knew, like, there should be lawsuits.
But like,
somehow, there needs to be lawsuits somehow here.
Who can sue?
I don't know, but
no one that's in the show. You sign a piece of paper when you come into the show saying you will never sue them. That's how you can't be on the show otherwise.
Yeah, but I feel like Jen can get away with whatever she wants. Not that Jen should have to do anything.
But she couldn't. She could get a lawyer who might take the case and say that these circumstances make the original contract null and void, like that the show was in breach because of this. But then the show's just going to be like, here's the contract she signed. Oh, and the court's like, well, that's over. Bye. There's no way to sue them.
But there's things in the contract like signing away your civil rights that that you can't actually do, like legally. You can't give up your civil rights.
Right. But if you're signing away your right to sue someone, basically indemnifying them in all cases, and in that contract it says bad things can happen to you as a result of coming on this show, and you know that, and you're still doing it, which the contract does say that, I don't think anyone who's ever been on the show can actually sue them for any of this kind of stuff. Because they will maintain, we did our due diligence. We found out what we could.
Lawyers out there in the nation, take a look. I
don't know. Yeah, Rachel Lindsay, maybe this is for you. Dust off the law degree. Come back to us. At any rate, that's the state of the game.
Stay away.
Yeah, you've escaped. Enjoy the escape. But that's the state of the game. We're not in a great place right now in the nation. But hopefully things will get better. That's why we're still in it. I still love this game. I still think mechanically it is the best dating game that has ever been made. And I can't help but watch it and just hope that these things, through outlets like us, Reality Steve, Dave Neal, everybody who's been talking about it, to continue to talk about it, shine a light on it so that hopefully it will change and it will get better. That's basically all we can hope for at this point.
Yeah, until I guess Clues' AI gets good enough to somehow fix this problem, I'm not sure what the solution is. But my woman only one, that is an actual solution.
It is a solution, but unfortunately, here's the bottom line of it. This is a network television show, and the mentality of all network TV executives, producers, etc., especially on a show that's been on the air for 22 years, is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've survived things like this before, and this will blow over. That is their attitude. You can tell by the statement they issued from a source close to the show. There's not even a name with it. That LA Times article that came out before Jen Tran's season aired, but after it shot, you had Bennett Graebner, you had Claire Freeland, and you had, I think, Jason Ehrlich. They were in that article talking, saying, we're so sorry, we're going to get it better. This is like some nameless person close to the show. What does that mean? Who's that? That could be literally anyone.
It's Jesse.
Yeah, it's Sweet Nums. Like, it could be anyone.
Sweet Nums.
They're taking no responsibility, and they're just like, turn the page, say nothing, move on. Golden Bachelorette's on. Unfortunately, there's a guy on Golden Bachelorette with a restraining order. It's like the problem's not going away. They have to do something now. And
unfortunately, here's the bottom line. Our beloved game is a small window into the reality of living as a human being in our society. And violence against women is still a gigantic problem that hasn't gone away.
I agree. But I also think...
And so it's... I don't know.
The show is like... The idea of the show is that we are taking you out of the real world, that the problems of the real world don't exist while you're in this show. You get to go on these fantastic dates and overnight dates and fly around in helicopters and jump off waterfalls and shit. The idea of it is that it's a fantasy of what romance can be, where there are no problems. And that's what it should be. They're not delivering on the promise of the premise. And I think once you've got that, once the scandal is bigger than that, it's like, well, I'm not tuning into the fucking show then. And I think they're going to start to see real numbers being affected by what is happening currently.
100%. I have had so many people reach out to me and be like, I'm done with the show.
Same.
Like, and these people have been through a lot with the show. No, it is really hard to contend with as a fandom. I don't know. I feel so much for Jen. I feel so much for Joan and just all of the fans who have had this violence in their life.
Well, imagine, of course. The triggering effect
every
of it
woman
is
I know.
Insane. Absolutely. But like, imagine being a bachelorette. And so now it's like, you come into it, you're already nervous because you're like, the producers might be manipulating me. I hope that I am a good bachelorette. I hope the ratings of my season are good. I hope I find love. All these things are in your head. Also, now you have to contend with which one of these guys or multiple of these guys had a restraining order or is some type of bad apple who slipped through whatever fucking vetting process they're doing.
The bad apple.
Exactly. Like, that's a part of it too now. It's just, it's really tainting the whole game, and they need to fix this problem immediately.
Yeah.
They need to issue a very public statement, probably from Jesse Palmer, about it. Like, do you remember when they sent him out at the end of, was it season 9? No, not
the
19.
Disaster background.
Yeah, whatever the one was where he's like, listen, Bachelor Nation, we hear you and we're going to do better. It's like, that was said a couple years ago. They ain't done nothing better.
They always say that. They always say they're going to do better. The loophole's fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. Keep watching our show. At any rate, that is our state of the game. We have to move on, Pace Case, because of time constraints here. And we're going to move on to the numbers of the game. This is...
This Week in...
Games. So we don't have any ratings as of yet because we're recording the show literally the morning after Golden Bachelorette. So we'll probably be looking at the ratings next week of the premiere a little bit. These ratings won't be available for another like 24 hours. I have no idea how it did. I have no idea what the ultimate numbers were. I know for Golden Bachelor, it was about 4.3 million viewers tuned into night one. So we'll see what Joan can do there. But we do have some Instagram numbers.
I do think that probably had the benefit of being the first Golden franchise. There's so many people who are going to turn in out of curiosity. And yes, this is a first, but it's not in the same level as the first ever Golden thing.
But if you look back to the
And what day of the week was that on?
What's that?
What day of the week was Golden Bachelor on?
I think it might have been, was it Mondays? I think it was Mondays. And then
well, that's an advantage too.
Paradise was right after it. I can't remember. But I do read a lot about and have some memory of the original Bachelor and Bachelorette. And Trista Sutter's season. Trista Sutter. Her inaugural season of Bachelorette really was the thing I think that solidified the show as a show. Because Alex Michelle's season ended in this kind of like, they dated for a couple of months and then broke up. But Trista got married on TV in the $1 million wedding, and they're still together, still have kids. Like, she was the proof of premise. And I think maybe Joan Vassos will give us that because Gary didn't, obviously.
I hope so. I wouldn't be surprised if Vassos is contractually obligated to stay married for a certain period of time.
You will get married in the final episode, and it will last.
There will be no golden divorce. There will be no staying on love, at least for 2 years, so we can get this off the ground.
There could be incentives, but financial incentives.
We do have gains in the Instagram TikTok-averse. While we're waiting for those ratings, Joan Vassos gained 2.4K on Instagram, bringing her to 58K. On TikTok, she gained 100. She's at 42.3K total TikTok followers.
I think she's going to do well. I think she'll get over 100 for sure. I think she's going to come out of this pretty good.
Absolutely, she will. Joan is good at really good at social media.
She's
she was
good
like
at
the
TV
best of the
too.
season.
We didn't get to see very much of her in Golden Bachelor. That Golden Bachelorette episode, Jesus Christ, she's like born to do this.
Yeah. Yes, she is. And now for the top 5 charts, we have the top Instagram chart as of today, Thursday, September 19th, 2024. 5th place goes to Charles Chalk Chapel, who has 948 Instagram followers.
Come on, get me above 1,000. Come on, get Chalk above 1,000. I want to get on Chalk Talk. Come on, get my TikTok up. We have Guy.
Are you Jack or Grocery?
No, that's Chalk. Chalk talks like this.
Oh, that was Chalk?
Yeah.
Chalk didn't
Jack
talk like that.
talks like this, as does Grocery. All right. Guy G.
I saw someone's comment that was like, I'm glad you get to do Grocery now because your Jack is Grocery.
If you're from Chicago, in 4th place on the top Instagram chart is Guy Ganser with 1,204 followers.
3rd place, Jordan Heller, 1,340 Instagram followers.
2nd place is Christopher S. with 2,022.
And that top spot goes to Kelsey's dad, the thirst trap, Mark Anderson, has 13.7K on Instagram.
And then if we look at their gains, like how many they put on this week, we've got in 5th place Guy Ganser with 177 new followers.
Charles L. put on 300 new Instagram followers.
You know you're going to have Chalk in this list. Charles Chalk Chapel. God damn it.
Strong name.
Chalk with his chock-a-noodle soup. He gained 461 followers.
Greg with 2G's L gained 513 followers.
And Mark
Dark
Anderson,
horse.
Kelsey's dad, once again, just dominating with 2,000 new followers. Congrats to all of
Nice.
these players. Now let's move on to All the Tids Fit to Print. This is... Bachelor Nation News. First up in Bachelor Nation News, the rookie class of Grant Ellis's upcoming Bachelor Season 29 has been revealed. The official Bachelor official Bachelor Facebook account posted photos of the rookie hopefuls along with a caption that reads, "We are giving you an early look at the women who may be on this season of #The Bachelor." This post was published on Monday, September 16th, with Grant's night 1 shooting on Wednesday, September 18th, giving Bachelor Nation only 2 days with these players to do any possible sleuthing. We will be going through all these incoming rookie social media accounts in the weeks leading up to Grant's premiere next January. Good luck to all the rookie hopefuls who are literally shooting the game right now. Today is their day off after night 1, and then the one-on-ones and group dates start tomorrow, I believe here in Los Angeles, and there may still be spots open to join those things in the audience. I know that the show put out some Instagram posts and some stuff on the internet. If you want to show up, just Google that, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it if you're interested.
You gonna start bringing your boombox? Get that golden song in the background somehow?
I'm doing what I can to get my music into the show. I'll simply say that.
Okay. By the way, Grant's cast only saw the still images of them that are available on Game of Roses Pod on Instagram. Looks like a set of professional rookies. It's going to be a tough competition.
I agree.
If I got there night 1 and I saw all those people, I'd be like, oh, fuck. I'm a night 1. Dang it.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, I'm about to dominate this field.
Of course.
Put me up against anybody.
I love your
don't
confidence.
care. Thank you.
Put me against anybody. Okay.
Just look, you and me both. Our game knowledge, I just don't think there's a situation that you or I could be put in this show that we wouldn't be exceptionally comfortable with what to do next.
I guess if you were to ignore the fact that I would just be openly weeping the whole time.
But that's good. That's a tier player.
Look, I am loving all of the man tiers that we are seeing
Absolutely.
On Golden Bachelorette. This first episode. If you haven't watched this first episode, turn this show off right now and go watch it. It was perfect.
I agree.
Up next in Bachelor Nation news, The Bachelor isn't the only show releasing their cast info. This week saw the release of the identities of the upcoming season 7 of the cornerstone of the NRU, the Netflix reality universe, Love is Blind. Season 7 will feature players from 27 to 37 years old who hail from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.
The cast includes military veterans, multiple scientists, including a quantum physicist, a lawyer, a journalist, and for the first time ever, a pair of siblings who will enter the experiment together. Unlike The Bachelor's antiquated photo dump to the boomer social media platform
siblings?
Of Facebook. No, I believe it's a brother and a sister. I think. I could be wrong about that.
But they don't date each other?
Correct.
Okay.
I think, yes. I don't think they're going to.
That's good.
Wait, your voice sounds familiar. So does yours.
Wait, sis?
Yeah.
Is
well,
that
I
you?
guess we got to see if we can fall in love now. It's the first incest on Netflix. Unlike The Bachelor's antiquated photo dump to the boomer social media platform of Facebook, the Love is Blind player announcement came in its own well-produced post to Netflix.com that featured social media links for every player listed along with polished photos and bios. They just know how to do it. I'm going to be covering this season, obviously, in Clues Corner on the Game of Roses Patreon. Join us there. You can watch every episode with me, and I break them all down.
Patreon.com/Game of Roses. Up next in Bachelor Nation news, the inaugural Golden Bachelorette is going to be on Broadway. You hear me right. Joan Vassos is becoming a star of the stage as well as the small screen. Well, maybe not a star exactly, but Vassos recently revealed on GMA that she will be joining the cast of Aladdin on Broadway for one night only, where she will deliver 4 lines as the fortune teller. Good luck to Joan. We hope she soaks up every second of the benefits that come with wearing the crown.
Up next, Bachelor Nation. Yeah, I think this could be an interesting little clip. And I'm like, is it part of the show in some way? But I don't think so, because the show is done.
Yeah, I'm like,
obviously.
Aladdin doesn't seem like the crossover I would go for. I would go for maybe, I guess it's a romance.
Well, it's a Disney thing.
Ah.
So they just make a call.
Always got to go back to the company.
Hello, is this the director of Aladdin? Vassos is the fortune teller tomorrow night. Goodbye. Click. That's how those deals are done. Up next in Bachelor Nation news.
I don't know how we got that clip.
Up next in Bachelor Nation news. It's just Bob Iger. Put Vassos for 4 lines in Aladdin tomorrow night. Up next in Bachelor Nation news, we have some big news and big congratulations in order for Alan Cumming and the best third wave show currently in production, The Traitors. Dark Lord Cumming and crew won some very impressive Emmys last week. The show took home trophies for Outstanding Reality Competition Program for the very first time, beating out RuPaul's Drag Race, The Amazing Race, Bravo's Top Chef, and even NBC's The Voice. But that's not all. Dark Lord Cumming won an Emmy himself for Outstanding Host for a Reality Competition Program, beating RuPaul, who has won that award for the past 8 years in a row. Congrats to the best Dark Lord in the game. It's great to see that we're not the only ones who think he's performing at the highest level a Dark Lord ever has.
Toppling a dynasty there.
I know.
The Sopranos is over. Get over it. Find a new show.
That's right.
Like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of awards, next up in Bachelor Nation news, Jen Tran and Joey Graziadei turned in their first performances on Dancing with the Stars this week, each in search of the Mirror Ball trophy, like the one true GOAT Caitlin Bristow got. The gaze play master Joey Graziadei and his partner Jenna Johnson performed a cha-cha to Dancing in the Country by Tyler Hubbard, scoring an impressive 21 overall points, which was the highest week 1 score for a former Bachelor in the show's history.
He was moving those hips. I watched that clip. This man can dance.
I couldn't believe the clip.
The man can dance.
Flying through the air.
Yeah. He can dance. Jen also performed a cha-cha with her partner Sasha Farber to the Miley Cyrus classic Flowers. She received a 19 out of 30 possible points. There were no eliminations in week 1, so both of our beloved crowns will dance again next week for their first 2 week scores to be combined to determine the first dancer to be eliminated next week. Good luck to both of our glorious leads. I think Jen Tran's going to go far in this season. I think that's another Bob Iger. Tran has to get into the semis at least. I think that's just going to happen.
I don't care if she broke her leg. She's in the finals.
Yeah. Tran goes far. Click. That's in my mind. That's like all his job is. Yeah, he's just so like,
funny.
Give me a Baby Yoda movie. Click. Tran goes far. Click. Vassos 4 lines as fortune teller in Aladdin. Click. He's just doing calls like that all day.
5 more Star Wars shows. I don't care if they're bad. Click.
Yeah, exactly. Make Robert Downey Dr. Doom. Click. Was that too deep of a cut? Sorry. Yeah. They cast Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom in this upcoming Marvel movie, who is like the big villain of the universe now.
What that is.
But he was Iron Man. And so everybody's like, he was the star of the Marvel universe, kind of the thing that held it all together as the hero of it. Now they're doing this next phase of the Marvel universe where he's going to be the villain of it.
Well, he's unrecognizable. I said, what is this show? Who is that man? He scares me.
The Dr. Doom mask?
Recognize him. Yes.
Well, yeah, he's wearing a whole fucking mask on his face. You can't see him. It's a Dr. Doom mask.
Too scary.
Yeah.
Finally, in Bachelor Nation news, The Bachelor Season 25 double one-on-one hoojuer and your Season 17 Bachelorette Katie Thurston is engaged. Joining me in the fiance club, Thurston posted images and videos of the engagement to boyfriend and fellow comedian Jeff Arcuri. That's a better intro than I gave him, which was just civilian. Thurston is currently planning a major move and a trade from the LA Icons to the New York City influence. Boo. We couldn't be happier for one of the greatest parasocial players to ever wear the crown. Congrats, Katie.
We're going to be covering this a little more in Parasocial Plays, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
All right.
Oh, well, yes, we are.
That wraps up news. Let's get to those Parasocial Plays. Let's
get to them. The Parasocial Play of the Week. Rob Roush from Love Island USA Season 6 made an incredible joint SpawnCon Instagram reel play with Halle Berry this week. Heard of her? For her feature film, Never Let Go. In the reel, the pair vote to never let go or let go various concepts, while Rob wears a full camo overall top, complete with a giant snake named Lilo as his scarf around his neck. Rob even self-directs their bit and says, can we not switch spots for editing? 56.3K likes for this post, 1.5 million views. The other video he posted of the pair, he surprises Barry with Lilo and says, hi, I'm Rob, scaring the shit out of her. That video has 2 million views as well. That's good SpawnCon.
That is good SpawnCon. Number 4 on our list of Parasocial Plays of the Week is Kelsey Anderson, the Parasocial support powerhouse to Joey Grazia Day, as Jason Tartick was for Caitlin Bristow, performing on Dancing with the Stars. Oh, sorry. Is Kelsey Anderson the Parasocial support powerhouse to Joey Grazia Day, as Jason Tartick was for Caitlin Bristow, performing on Dancing with the Stars?
Yes, thank you.
That's how it was supposed to be done.
That's how I envisioned it.
My apologies.
It's okay.
She put out a short, hilarious reel of herself in awe watching Joey's performance on Dancing with the Stars. The caption reads, my baby is a star. 2 R's, 3 exclamation points. Is that star? Watashi wa star. You know that song? They used it in the promos for Dancing with the Stars. 155.1K likes, and the still image cover of the reel is a photograph of the pair with who? Jason Tartick, Gore Girl Jason Tartick. They've learned from the best in the business. Congratulations.
I'm loving this. It's simple. It's getting engagement. I love it. Yeah. Speaking of engagement, our number 3 top parasocial play this week is Engagement Season ×2. The 17th Bachelorette crowned Katie Thurston and Paramore civilian Jeff Arcuri made a joint 9-slide post this week. First, with still images of the pair during an engagement photo shoot and Thurston's sparkler. They conclude the series with a video of the actual proposal. In it, the pair looked to be shooting a self-timer picture. and R. Curry bends the knee, surprising Thurston. She puts on the sparkler and runs to camera to show it off. It is very well done, and for TRR, which doesn't surprise us here at Gore due to Thurston's prowess in the parasocial space. Congrats to the happy couple on this momentous occasion, and more importantly, for 422.8K likes and 7.1K comments.
Damn. You know, it's technically true he's a civilian. I get why you wrote that. He's never been in our beloved game. But he's a very successful comedian who has over 1 million Instagram followers. It's civilian adjacent.
Okay. Since when does that matter?
Well, he's like a celebrity. I don't...
okay.
It's not in the game.
How many Instagram followers
like,
does he have?
You know what I mean? 1 point... Hang on. I'll look at it right now. I think it's like 1.3.
I mean, a civilian is anyone who's not in the game.
Kind of. But like...
but you're saying he's famous.
1.3
I see that argument.
It's like... He's at 1.5. I'm sorry. I shortchanged him a little bit. It's like when
Good for
Funk
him.
and Sluss. When Sluss aligns with Funk. Funk is a professional football player.
Civilian.
Is that? It's like a pro football player. If you're a celebrity in some other right, you're like, yes, a civilian, but you're also elevated. You're not just like a real estate agent or something like this, like a regular job, you know? Anyway, I don't know. Our number 2 parasocial play. Let's get to it. It's Throwback Wednesday. Yesterday, Kelsey Anderson wished her thirst trap spawning father, Mark Anderson, good luck parasocially. She posted a 7-slide Instagram image carousel of the pair, including an image of him with Kelsey's similarly long-maned butterfly / hummingbird mother. Pics of Marky in both an army tot and sparkling glasses tot, as well as a couple images of Marky and Kelsey at Jen's disastrous after the final rose. The caption reads, quote, "I am so excited to watch my dad on The Golden Bachelorette premieres tonight. Can't wait for y'all to see more of the amazing man that raised me. 3 exclamations, 2 hearts, 3 roses. I love you so much, Dad." I love you so much, girl dad is what that should have read. 237.2K likes and 1K comments.
I mean, Kelsey is just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, she's great.
Like, she's extended this time so much.
Yeah.
And all of these were strong plays. 2 of the 5 were Kelsey Anderson. However, there can only be one winner. And in this case, they won by a long shot. Our parasocial play of the week and perhaps year goes to Baby Benny. Baby Benny, son of Tropical Royale Becca Kufrin and Villain Edit recipient turned ring winner Thomas Jacobs, took his first steps alongside Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles and Jordan Childs. Yes, you heard that correctly. In a joint reel posted by Becca Kufrin and Thomas Jacobs, we see Baby Benny doing an incredible series of steps on the beam, steps on the gymnastics mat, being held up by Olympian Simone Biles, and then steps by himself. Kufrin performs a quick series of tap steps in celebration at this, I put alleged milestone. I'm sure
I agree with you. No. You think those are his first steps for real? No
I
way.
don't know. It's all alleged.
Yeah.
Baby Benny watches the team of Olympians train. He poses for a still photograph with the Olympians. The caption reads, "Benny took his first steps. All it took was motivation watching at Simone Biles." Emoji of a goat. Training / encouragement with at Jordan Childs and the at Gold Over America Tour floor mats. Unbelievable. Prayer hands emoji, some sort of heart color emoji. Our jaws were on the floor at this stunning real play. I got chills. I'm looking at it right now. Is Baby Benny coming for the Lyondike twins and Alessi Lyondike's parasocial dominance in the child space? Yes, it looks like it. 50.5K likes, 1.3 million views. And Biles' engagement didn't stop IRL. She commented on the post, "Not me almost passing out from screaming. I was so excited." Laughing, crying emoji, clapping hands emoji. So good. 3 exclamation points. OMG in all caps. OMG indeed, Biles. OMG.
Absolutely unreal. It's absolutely unreal. Anytime you see Bachelor players, see, this is what I'm saying. You think Simone Biles is a civilian?
No.
Exactly my point. I'm not saying Jeff R. Curry is Simone Biles, but
I mean, it sounds like you are.
No, they're elevated. They're not like there's a lot of Bachelor players who do just marry regular kind of people, you know? This ain't that. At any rate, congratulations. This parasocial play was absolutely insane. All these parasocial plays were fantastic. We do have one play to give out that did not go to a human being, although human beings were involved. This week, the Parasocial Creature of the Week award goes to Andy and Charlene's little canine pooch. Charlene Joy is right now doing an opera tour in Ireland, and she took the opportunity to post a few pictures. No, I think this is real. To post a few pictures of her and Andy Levine's dog, as well as in one of these pictures, in the little place that they're staying in Ireland, I guess. And in one of these pictures, you see their dog sitting on the couch, about to do what looks like a podcast. He's sitting by the podcast microphone. And in the background, I believe this is Andy Levine at the sink, washing some dishes in the nude. And Charlene Joint has taken the opportunity to black box out his middle section, his middle area. I highly encourage you to go check it out. This is a very cute dog and a very candid photo of Andy Levine washing dishes in the nude. Now,
I love that.
Now, that got our first I love that of the episode. Now let's move on to that portion of our program where Pace Case and I descend deep into the dark waters of the pit and allow the evil and dark energies to permeate our bodies so that we can issue forth our screams about how our fandom of this very program has changed our lives in drastic ways. This is
Screams from the Pit!
My scream this week is wedding related. Oh. I am planning a wedding and I have done one step so far, and that was getting a wedding dress.
Congrats. That's a big step.
Thank you. I think it's an occasion that a lot of people dream about or whatever, think about a lot beforehand. I would say I hadn't really thought about it too much, and so I had to try on a lot. But when I came down to the final decision, the store person was like, here is a veil, a practice veil to like see the whole look.
Okay.
And all I could think when this woman is putting the veil on is I'm looking at it and I'm like, it doesn't say worth the wait. I kind of want my veil to say worth the wait.
Did you tell him that?
Are there embroidery options? I did not say why I was asking this. There are embroidery options, I guess.
You should have showed a picture of Madison Pruitt. I want this.
Yeah. Do you have
Get
this
Iger
one?
on the phone. Give her the worth the wait veil. Click.
Yes, Daddy Bobby. I want the worth the wait veil. Get it for me. No, it was just, it is, look, I did tear play when I saw myself in it. And it, it's such a kind of whatever important moment for a person. And
of course,
the fact that I couldn't stop thinking about Madison Pruitt's virginity card veil during this important moment really, I'm going to say it shocked me, but it didn't. It was just like, this is just my life full of screams. It's just a stack of screams.
You think the screams are going to stop at you seeing the veil regarding your wedding? I believe every step of this is going to give you a scream about some moment from The Bachelor or Love is Blind or whatever, I think it'll be impossible not to think about these things. But that's a great scream. Congratulations. This week, my scream, it revolves around utter disappointment. I don't know how else to put it.
Oh, no.
And it's not about all the restraining orders that are coming out.
I was going to say, is it about the restraining orders?
I don't even feel like that's a scream. That's just an analysis of the state of the game. This is a much more personal scream. I was beyond excited when Dark Lord Palmer announced that he had made a collaboration with Fanatics for a series of sportswear. I was going to buy a bunch of it. I had planned I was going to buy something for my dad that had Kansas State logos on it. I assumed it would have the ability for you to customize with any college or NFL logo this series of kind of like, what do you even call it? It's a little, it's like activewear to some degree. There's like shorts and sweatpants. There's like long sleeve shirts, button up shirts. There's also like some blazers. It's like guy wear. Yeah. Like kind of business casual guy wear, as well as some kind of like sweatpantsy, sporty kind of things. And they all have
athleisure.
Like, yeah. It's like athleisure and a little more. It's a little dressier than that as well, if you like. Some of the shirts
what price
have
range
like,
are we talking for his collection?
Not bad. 40, 50 bucks per like button up shirt type thing. You can get button up shirts, t-shirts, whatever. And they have little logos of the teams that are available through this line on them. Or they have a blazer that has like the lining of it has the, whatever the team logo is like repeating all in the
I like that. That's like a magic trick.
Yeah. That's what I was going to get. I didn't know of what, probably Kansas State, like I said, because that's where my dad is from. And I knew he would maybe like this. Unfortunately, there are only 8 college team logos available in the Jesse Palmer collection. They are Alabama, which I guess is for Hannah Brown. I don't know. Florida, which is, I think, where he went to school.
You think he's choosing these for the Bachelor people?
Yeah.
They're probably just like the ones that had open, whatever, licenses.
They
biggest football teams?
Fanatics licenses everything. Fanatics, you can get literally any NFL or college team gear.
Berkeley?
Probably. Look it up. But they only have Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, UT, and USC. I went to USC. I graduated from USC. I'm not even going to buy that because I don't want
USC, humble brag.
Yeah, humble brag. I already paid my money to USC. I'll give them no more. This was so disappointing to me. I was crushed that I'm not going to buy any of Jesse Palmer's line because it's like teams I don't give a shit about.
Did you message them and say when is the next edition coming out with the expanded teams?
No, I closed the window on my phone and I threw my phone across the room in disgust. That is my scream. Hopefully,
I'm sorry.
Some Dark Lord out there.
I'm sorry. I hope you'll be able to pay DLP money someday.
He deserves it's not for this. It's not for this. Try again. Try harder.
Try again. Sell me your pants that you stuck the Fempros down.
You're selling the wrong logos. That was my Jodie Foster impersonation. Congrats to her on her Emmy, by the way. She was asking the right questions. Now let's move on to another scream. We're not the only people screaming.
She won the Emmy?
Yeah. Best supporting.
Wow.
We have one more scream here to get to. If you follow this program, you might know that if you join us on our Patreon at patreon.com/Game of Roses, you get access to our Discord. And in that Discord is a channel where you can submit your own screams, 1 minute or under, audio or video clip. And we play the best ones here. Anya goes through them all. She listens to the dark screams and she helps us present the best ones here. We have one today from a user named Nina Dabbit. We're going to listen to it now. Are you ready, Pace Case?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Hello, Pitt. My scream this week comes to you from my vacation in Hawaii. To fully enjoy this trip, I strayed from my typical Monday night live viewing of Bachelor episodes. But upon leaving Hawaii, I finally sat down to catch up on our beloved game, only to see they were staying at the Fairmont Orchid, where I had been staying up until that night. Where, had I watched Fantasy Suites live, I could have achieved a sort of inception by watching Fantasy Suites at the Fairmont Orchid from the Fairmont Orchid. Since then, I've been rewatching clips and giving myself a sense of FOMO for a place I very much did not miss out on. Noting the places I also was, where Jen Tran, the players, and DLP also stood, from the empty bar that actually looks empty even when it's open, to Marcus's description of finding a chair on the beach, where I had also sat in a chair on the beach during the episode's airing. Did the Bachelor producers also get a screaming deal on this way too bougie 5-star resort like I did? Had I been influenced unknowingly by some dark force into selecting this hotel? I'm sure it will only get worse as they remain at this resort for the finale. And I will continue to rehash all the places I went but didn't fully appreciate their significance to our beloved game. If you need me, I'll be digging my hole deeper at the bottom of the pit.
This is a fantastic scream. I've had many similar experiences where you're on some kind of vacation. You're in some beautiful... I've been to Paris. The only thing I thought when I stood in front of the Moulin Rouge was, this is where Arie Luyendyk Jr. And that fateful group of players walked in and Becca dominated it and got the extra time. And that's all I could think. I also just walking around Paris
that's what
was
Moulin
thinking
Rouge,
about,
I think, is most famous for.
Yeah. Thinking about Nick Viall in his mime makeup when he went there during Dorfman season. It is a common scream, I think, but it's a very deep scream because it means that you now relate your experience in the world only through Bachelor terminology, only through the ghosts of players past who have walked the footsteps you are walking. That now is what is most meaningful to you about a trip to Hawaii, is that you're in the same place Bachelor players were. Not that you're in a beautiful paradise on earth where you can forget all your troubles.
Resort.
Yeah, exactly.
I do love that it's like, it is a deep level scream, that it's like the construct in which you view all experiences, because I live that life now, obviously.
Same, yeah.
I would also like to say the screamer's voice, this could have been an NPR correspondent.
Yeah, might as well start your own podcast.
I love the voice. It's like, I'm like intrigued. I'm like, I want to hear more of the story. I think this could be a limited like 10 episode series that's just all about this experience and how you see it through the lens of The Bachelor. Might as well. What do you got to lose? Yeah, do more.
Thank you for this beautiful scream, Nina Dabbitt. And we hope that you enjoyed that, in quotes, vacation. Now, we have come to the end of our program. Again, if anybody else wants to send in their scream, just get on our Patreon at Game of Roses, or patreon.com/Game of Roses.
If your mini moves were ruined.
Ruined or enhanced?
I would be upset. I'm not going to lie, if that happened to me.
To me, it's an enhancement.
Because I would have missed the opportunity to go and see those specific places with the context, though. Like, I think why this person is upset.
No, totally. Yeah. I'd been to the Grove hundreds of times before Ari Leindyke season where they had a group date there. But now when I walk through that there's like that fake grassy area in the middle where they did that dog show. Every time I see it, I see the ghosts of Ari Leindyke and all the players who did that show there. Every time. I love it. Aww. I love it. At any rate, thank you everyone for joining us. Have they been to the
Americana yet?
Not to my knowledge. Why would they?
End podcast forever. The Americana is the best place in the world. Are you kidding me? The Grove banned us, Clues. How can you still support them over the other thing that makes that guy a bunch of money?
The Grove is the better place. They used to have a bar in the Grove called Mixology. Bachelor players hung out there regularly. You think I haven't been to
Mixology? I've been to Mixology. It's a big plot line in Vanderpump Rules, too.
Oh, no shit. See?
Jax joins a party and he comes in and there's like 6 shots for like a bunch of different people. He does all of them.
Yeah. I used to go to Mixology once a week I had a group of friends that I'd go see movies with like on every Friday, basically. And then we'd go to Mixology and have a couple drinks after and try to see if we could see a reality star.
Did you?
Yeah, a few times. Never any Bachelor players, but we did see some people. At any rate, thank you for joining us today. That wraps up This Week in Bachelor Nation. We will be back with continued coverage of Joan Vassos's inaugural Golden Bachelorette season. Every Thursday, our recaps will come out. Every Friday, we have This Week in Bachelor Nation. Every other Monday, we'll have Digging Deeper, where we go deep diving through all of the various Bachelor Nation podcasts and what they're talking about, bringing you the best clips and analyzing them. Thank you for joining us. That wraps up
Patreon.com/Game of Roses. We also have our coverage of pretty much every other reality show that exists. Clues is doing in his corners and ad-free episodes and some Vanderpump Palapas.
Yeah.
To come.
We hope you'll join us there.
Praise be Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.